everyone. What I'm doing today is I'm making sure to record a video for you to help you with the math homework while you are at home. So today we are learning 2.1.1, when do decimals repeat? So we're doing fraction to decimal conversions. So we started to do this a little bit in the previous chapter, and we're going to continue to learn that. So it says, in previous lessons, you have explored different representations of portions, parts of wholes. You've looked at portions represented as fractions and as decimals, and you went back and forth between the representations. While fractions are written in a common format, that is, as the quotient A divided by B, where your numerator is divided by your denominator, their decimal representations have two types: terminating and repeating. And we talked about this, where terminating means that it stops, whereas repeating means that it continues to repeat itself over and over infinitely, never ever stops. So today we're looking at why does it happen. So we are not going to be working on 2-1. We are skipping that one. Rather, we're starting on 2-2. It says in lesson 1.1.5, you rewrote fractions like 1/9 as decimals by dividing on your calculator. Looking at how division works can help explain why fractions look so different when written as decimals. Imagine that you have 13 cheese sticks that you need to divide evenly amongst 5 people. So perhaps that's the end of the bag that you have, and you and your friends are really, really hungry for your favorite friends. How are you going to make sure that everyone gets a fair amount? So you can rewrite this relationship as 13 cheese sticks divided by 5 people, or 13/5, where 13 is divided by 5. You can kind of see that right here. Or right here we have 13 divided by 5. I do want to point out right here, note on the outside of our symbol is our divisor, or what we're dividing by. This is where my denominator will be, whereas this guy right here is my numerator. Some kids get confused as to which one goes where, but in this case, my denominator is on the outside of the symbol because that's what I'm dividing by. The problem is represented with the pictures and symbols below. We also could watch this video. However, I will let you peruse that at your as you choose later on. So I'm looking at this picture right here. This picture is a representation of the problem along with this symbols right here. So the very first problem says, talk with your team about how this diagram represents dividing 13 by 5 or 13/5. So I'm looking at this, I see there's 13 total cheese sticks. I see that there's 5 groups of 2 whole pieces. And I see that we have 3 left over here. So it says, why are there 5 groups of 2 pieces? So I would say with this guy right here, the reason why there's 5 groups of 2 pieces is because that's how many whole cheese sticks each person gets. We have that. That's as many as we can do before we have to start doing something with the leftover pieces. So I'm going to come down here, and this is my notebook right here. And so again, I have my 2.1.1. I have my 2-2A. There are 5 groups of 2 pieces because that is the number of cheese sticks each of the 5 people get. That's how many of the whole cheese sticks that whole should be in there for sure. Let's add that. We'll do a little caret in there since I'm writing in ink. Never ever do your math homework in pen, but it makes it easier to see. So we're going to go back to our book right here. The next one, Bravo, says, what does a 2 above the division symbol mean? We're talking about this 2 right here. So the 2 above that division symbol means that's the number of whole cheese sticks or number of groups that 13, excuse me, let me go back. I have 13 in total. I'm dividing them into 5 groups, and 2 is the number that I can divide it into before I have some leftovers. So for this guy right here, man, that was wordy. That's wordier for me than usual, probably because I'm recording. You know how that goes. So the 2 above the division symbol represents the number of whole cheese sticks each person gets. So again, we're relaying back what that division problem is asking of us. So the next part of that problem says, what does a 10 represent? So when we're looking at this guy right here, we have this 10. That 10 represents the total number of cheese sticks that were whole. So we have 2 for the first person, 4 because of second person, 6, 8, 10. So this 10 right here represents the number in the whole group that was able to be divided. So, oops, wrong one. The 10 represents the number of cheese sticks that, let's put that word whole in there again. For some reason, I don't want to write it today. The number of whole cheese sticks that the whole group of 5 people get. Where are the 3 leftover pieces shown in the symbols? 3 leftover pieces. I see them here in the diagram, these 3 pieces here, but where is it over here? These are the symbols. Letters and numbers are symbols. So I see the 3 leftover right here. So I'm going to write, oh, doggone it. 3 leftover pieces are shown in the symbols at the bottom of the problem. So they're shown at the bottom. So right down here, again, we're looking at it. This guy is hanging out right there. That's where he's at. So I have, in my 5 groups, I have 2 in each of those, and that's where my total number of whole cheese sticks are. I subtract that from the total cheese sticks to begin with, and I'm left with those 3 leftover pieces. Delta says, our number system is based on powers of 10. So to share the 3 leftover pieces between the 5 people, we would need to divide the pieces into tenths. The way that we do that is to add a decimal point to the dividend. That's a part that is inside the symbols to show that those 3 whole pieces are being rewritten as 30 tenths shown below. Here's my 3 pieces of cheese. I divided them into 10 pieces. That's for my tenths because we have a base 10 number system. So those 3 pieces now magically are 30 tenth pieces. And I show that in the symbol by adding a decimal right here, and then in turn adding a decimal up there. So on my paper, because I'm going to be doing this, again, where I see that is I see the decimal being added right here. And again, right there, that's me breaking those up. So now I'm able to bring that 0 down the way that we do when we do long division. But that's because I have that 30 tenths, and I can see that because this is the tenths place value. So it says, determine how many tenths each person gets. Then show this written in the problem using the division process. So to determine each of the tenths each person gets, so we have, again, I can see up here in this group where we had the 5 pieces of 2. So what I could do is, right here, oh, good gravy, I've never used this before. Let's try this. So I have person number 1 gets that one. Holy cow, I can't write this way. Let me see if it'll let me write directly on my screen. Perhaps. There's 3, 4, and 5. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, now, if I am person number 1, I would get this piece and that one. That one too. Don't let me forget that guy. I'm going to have that one and that one and that one. And my buddies get all the rest. So each person is going to get each person is going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tenths. So on my paper, on my packet, each person gets 6 tenths. And again, I know this here because if I have 30 right here, I'm thinking to myself when I do the long division, how many 5s do I have in 30? So 5 times 30 is 30. Excuse me, 6 times 5. Holy cow, I shouldn't do this late. I'm going to subtract the difference to see what's left over. And I get 0 left over. 6 times 5 is 30. Sorry, guys. Okay. So let me make sure I'm good on my problem. I have show how it's written in the problem and complete the division process. We did that already. So it's asking us now, how much cheese will each person receive? We need to write our answer both as a fraction and as a decimal. Good news is that we actually have it in a couple of different spots, but we actually have it as a as a decimal right there. Each each person is going to receive 2 6/10 sticks of cheese. So I write it as a fraction. I have my 2 whole sticks of cheese. And I also have my 6/10. 6/10. So I have it written both as a decimal and as a fraction, mixed number. That's where we end for the first part of 2.1.1.